I think the Greek community, first and foremost, gives us an avenue or a platform to show that we can unify. Oftentimes there's stereotypes that saying black people can't come together, but I do believe this is an opportunity for us to show that we can come together and we can make an impact on important issues.
I love being Greek. My wife, she's Greek, she's an AKA. My brother, he's Greek, he's an Omega. I love the fact that we can all come together, despite what organization we belong to, just making an impact within our community. That is the whole, to me, the whole purpose of joining an organization. What are you going to give back? What is your legacy? Whether you're an Alpha, Kappa, Omega, or Sigma, what are you going to do to make your community better? And if by us working together, doing things, participating in Greek organization, that right there, and having other kids, having the communities to see us working together, uplifting the community, that right there is that's important.
Members of Greek organizations are usually leaders in the community because they understand the endurance that you have to go through to become a member of this organization or any Greek organization. And they tend to be the leaders in your community. Greek people understand hardship, they understand brotherhood, sisterhood, and they understand what's required to be good leaders. And I think that's what that's a part of.
So many times I get in debates with people that are not in these organizations. Oh, you can do community service without being in these organizations. Y'all don't do anything. But that's because they don't really know the rich history of the Divine Nine. Without the Divine Nine, a lot of us wouldn't even be able to go to the universities, not alone the HBCUs, but the predominantly white institutions. Without our organizations, they wouldn't have been given those opportunities. The Divine Nine has been responsible for working with the civil rights movement. People don't know that. Working overseas in those third world countries, getting them the support and help they need. Providing those scholarships that so many of us need to graduate college. So without the Divine Nine, a lot of people now wouldn't even be in those positions that they are in. And when you don't know the history of an organization, it's easy to say that those aren't needed. We are very well needed, and still to this day, we need to know the importance of the organization locally and on an international level.
And as I continue to grow older, different men would come in and out of my life, teachers, principals, and that sort of thing. Along the way, not knowing until much later on in life, I found out that they happen to be Omega men. And so from influence of that my father had and the things that I see in him, Omega Psi Phi fraternity, the men that were a part of that organization exemplified some of those same characteristics. And so that was really the sealing point, the seal in the deal for me. Probably by the time I was a junior in high school, I already knew which way I was going to go. There was no question about it.
The women of Zeta Phi Beta have always been a staple in Holly Springs, Mississippi. They are largely educators, lawyers, bankers. They were very present and visible in my community and in my immediate neighborhood. My neighbors were women of Zeta. My teachers were Zeta. So they had a very positive influence on my life and the decision that I made to become a Zeta. I was involved in the youth organizations, a Pearlet and a Meekhead and Arcanet. So it was a natural fit for me to become a Zeta or be interested to become a Zeta.
When you're a little girl and you spend a lot of time with your grandparents, but you always watch the call paper, and I used to see these beautiful girls that had their pictures in the paper, and then you'd watch it the next week and you'd see them in these pretty gowns. And my grandmother just asked me, she said, "So is that what you want?" And I said, "I want to be like them." And at that time, that was just to be in the dead ball. And then it ends up that there were a lot of people in my life, my high school teachers, principals, they were all AKAs, they were people who were friends of my grandparents. And those women were always very poised, very secure, always offering to help, and it was just more reasons for me to want to do that. When I became a Deb, even then, just being a part of that and the friendships I developed, I'm like, this is where I need to be. This is what I want. And so I had to wait a little while.
Well, many of the professors there and the people that recommended me going to Lane College were Alpha men. So they said, and be sure you join the Alpha organization. And I enjoyed it, and it was quite nice. The things that, when I joined the Alphas and everything, and I was about in 56, which I was just starting, or had been there 2 years, and they said that to get in line for running the whole school, you know, being the president of the organization, being president of Lane College, of the student activities, and just the way that all the guys seem to get jobs. And I
Well, it's interesting because at the school I attended before immigration, many of the teachers, the principal was a Kappa. I remember my industrial arts teacher and coach was a Kappa. Basketball coach was a Kappa. And basically, that was my first experience with Greek life. And when I got to Lincoln, it was on my mind.
All right, I will start with A3 for Life. That stands for Ask, Accept, and Act. And that is an initiative that Sigma Gamma Rho actually has a partnership with the CDC. We are the only actually Divine Nine organization that received a $100,000 grant. Here in Kansas City, we've actually raised, I think it's close to $2,000 in terms of supporting AIDS service organizations. We do things like testing, we do awareness, we do marketing campaigns, and so that's something very near and dear to our heart. We know that African American females are one of the highest growing demographics that are actually getting new cases of HIV and AIDS.
We have auxiliaries. We have the Seder Mikai. I am a part of that. We also have the Perlets. We have the Amica Sorrows that are helpers in that area. We do a lot of community service and scholarships. We give scholarships. In June, we have a Christian Women of the Year, where we honor all Christian women from the various churches in the various communities. I was originator of that, and from 1991, we have been doing that and giving scholarships.
As I heard one of my sisters say, who's from another chapter, the motto of Alpha Kappa Alpha is to be service to all mankind. And to me, I think the biggest program that we as Alpha Kappa Alpha women are involved in is what we call our Connections program. Connection deals with connecting to every service entity that's offered. It doesn't always mean that we have to develop the program, but sometimes we just need to be the volunteers, the legs that make the program go. I remember the year we worked with the sudden infant's death and just being able to pass out that information. That was back with the Plaza Art Festival. It had a booth and we took our turn there. I think when Move Up used to do their coat drives, we've been involved in that, and not so much just bringing coats, but actually helping to sort the coats for men, for women, for children, those that, okay, not quite what we want, and yeah, we need to have this one taken care of. And so those type of involvements, and especially when it came down to voter registration. Voter registration becomes something I think that as Greeks we get real involved in, but I think we are beginning to learn, individual Greeks, that we can't do it just in the year of a presidency. We have to do it in the off years. And so there's a lot of people who are involved in different political organizations where they're constantly reminding, are you a registered voter? You need to get out to vote. This is not a presidential election, but we do need to vote at this time. So we're trying to always show that the Connection program is the program that keeps everybody abreast of what's going on. So to me, I think that's the biggest honor I feel we have within there's a lot, but I think Connection really is the one that the women of Alpha Kappa Alpha sorority kind of really power toward, because that's where our service is really used.
it means a lot. It almost brings you to tears when you think about you've been in an organization for 50 years. And the great thing about it, I think, is due to the fact that I've had a chance to know pretty much every general president personally since 1965 when I came into the organization. And it's a great feeling. I've met a lot of good men over the years. And I hope that my part of contribution to the fraternity has been one of a little success, because I just finished my tenure as the general convention chair for the election committee. And as a result of that, we developed for the first time protocol that the fraternity is using in its elections. This is the second election that we will have used it.
Having 50 years in AKA is very special, very important to me. It means that I have been all these years, and I've been an active member the majority of those 50 years, probably only about 1 or 2 when I was out of the country. I was not active. But other than that, I've always been active. I love my sorority. I enjoy the different work that we do in the community, which is something that we're known for, is doing our different activities in the community and all. I've been with this chapter, Upsilon Rho Omega, here in Johnson County, Kansas, for the last 17 years, ever since they were chartered, as a matter of fact. So it's just a very important thing, and it's a very special thing to have put in 50 years with my organization. It's a very proud moment, really, because when you first initiated, I think you're so young, especially, you never think about having 50 years in this organization, but it's a very special thing.
Right.
Brothers, some of the fellowship, really, the brotherhood, being at Smith. Sometimes it was just us engaging, going out for lunch or dinner, even doing community service projects. There was a lot of fun, a lot of laughter, and people that you could really connect with, and really talk to about things that you wouldn't generally just share out with openly. So the bond was always really good to me, no matter where I've lived. And for me, I'm somewhat of a nomad. I've lived a lot of places, from Carolina to Southern California. And some of my closest friends in life are members of Kappa Alpha Psi. And they're not even people I pledged with. They were brothers I've met along the road.
My goodness, I am wrapping up my 2-year term of service as the president of my AKA chapter in December of this year, and I hope that as I go out of office, they will say that it led with kindness, grace, and love.
The principles of our sorority are scholarship, service, sisterhood, finer womanhood. And I would like to be remembered for always representing and upholding those principles. I have a daughter who's 5. So I live my life each day so that she can see those things in me and hopefully will be my legacy someday. So I hope my work speaks for itself.
I just want people to remember that I'm a part of the membership, a part of the little eggs that make the big machine run. That's all, just to be a worker and a person who just gives all I have to give.